splits and hip mobility. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and hopefully you enjoy the good vibes. Hopefully, we make a whole bunch of progress in our side splits, in our hip mobility towards better movement with a little bit of consistency, with a little bit of fun and entertainment. And I think it means it's time to get started. So let's get started with our first warm up exercise. It is called the hip car. I have a little bit of a sore throat, so I might stop for water a whole bunch of times today, which is a good reason for you to also have some water nearby so you can take a break whenever you think that you need it. Let's go. Hip cars, high knee. Open up that leg directly to the side, rotate it, bring that ankle up, start with focusing on getting horizontal. Then as you get more skilled, keep on going, rotate, 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 rotate. Bring the leg down and back, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, pull that leg behind you, feel the stretch in the hip flexor, and that is one rep. We're going to do 10 of these on the left side, 10 on the right side, and then we're going to reverse the whole thing. Let's go. High knee, open, ankle, ankle some more, down and back, high knee, open, ankle, ankle some more, down and back. That's 2. 3. Hold on to something for balance. It really helps. And if your low back is a little bit achy, try to contract that core a little bit so that your low back does not swing around. I think this is 6. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open up, ankle up, down and back. Whew. I think that's 10. I might be off by 1 or 2. We're fine. We're going to move on to the other leg. And I'm going to have a sip. Whew. Okay. That's nice. Hot drinks. All right. Let's do 10 more on the other side. High knee. Open. Ankle to horizontal. Ankle all the way up as high as you can. Bring the leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings. Flex the glutes. Feel that stretch in the hip flexor. Try to keep a little bit of tension in the core so that your low back is not doing a dance. All right. This stretch is coming from the hips. Let's go. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 4. Or sorry, that's 3. This is the beginning of 4. 5. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Whew, those are hip cars going forward. Let's get ready to start going backwards. I think I've been going through them a little bit fast today. Let me know if you need me to slow down. Travel Roxy says, hi, everyone. Eduardo over on YouTube says something with amigos in Brazil and Salvador. Welcome back. Okay. Let's go backwards. Start by standing up straight. Find something for balance if you need it. Bring this leg back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, pull it slightly behind you. Start feeling the stretch here in the hip flexor. You're trying to bring the leg back. Again, we're not trying to turn this into a crazy move and put a lot of pressure on the low back. So if you're feeling discomfort, flex those abs a little bit, round your back the other direction, and use that to help really focus on feeling the stretch here in the front of the hip and not in your back. See the difference? Cool. Back, side. Bring that ankle up as high as you can. Bring the ankle all the way down. Knee forward. Let's keep going. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 9, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 10. Whew, hip cars. We're 75% of the way through. We are almost done. Let's spin around. Last round. Flex the glutes, flex the hamstrings, pull that leg back. Keep your core pretty tight so that your low back doesn't go like this. Feeling the stretch here in the hip and not from the back. Lift the leg directly to the side. Rotate the leg so that the ankle is coming up. Rotate all the way back down. Bring the knee up and bring that knee all the way across. Back to the front. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, 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 back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 5, 6, 7, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 8, 9, last one, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That is all of our hip cars. Hopefully you're starting to get warmed up. Maybe you're getting a little sweaty. And that is good. If you're just joining in for the first time and you don't know what we're doing 45 to 60-ish minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility training so that we can all move a little bit better. My goal is to help you focus on the number one quality, consistency. So we show up every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, try to make it fun, give you the opportunity to build a little bit of community, hang out in the chat, interact with each other. Take the opportunity to not make stretching all about suffering on the floor. Make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more engaging. What else do we do? That's about it. So if you like the show so far, hit follow, hit subscribe. If you're not quite sure, keep on hanging out. We got lots of exercises left. We've only just begun. Let's go. We just finished our first warm-up exercise. We're going to move on into warm-up exercise number 2. And it is called the elephant walk. But to set up for it, we're going to get into this L shape. We're going to try and fold at the hips, bring the belly button so it's pointing down towards the ground. And for most of us, your low back is going to be feeling pretty tight. So just chill here for a little bit. Let that muscle relax. And then slowly, as you start feeling the hamstrings more and the low back is more relaxed, we will focus on the hamstrings. Breathe, relax, chill. The hip car is really intense. This does not have to be nearly as intense. Well, at least not yet. From here, you can give your hamstrings a light massage. Hopefully your low back has relaxed. Now you're just feeling it in your hamstrings. You might be feeling it here at the bottoms of your butts. That is where the hamstrings tie into your pelvis, your hip bones. So that could be why you might be feeling a little tingliness in your calves, in your toes. That is often called nerve flossing, and that's also all right. All right, I think it's time. We're going to start some movement. We're going to do the walking part of the elephant walks. We're going to bend one knee. We're going to straighten the other leg. We're going to keep on trying to bring that belly button down as low as we can. Then we're going to shift from side to side. So left knee is bent, right leg is straight. Then we're going to go to right leg is bent, left leg is straight. We're just going to keep going. There's no super intense, strict way to keep your time. Just shift from side to side. As you're starting this, you'll feel a whole bunch of discomfort in your hamstrings. You'll maybe feel things shifting around in your legs, and you'll just generally be a little uncomfortable. That is normal, and that is okay. What we want from this warm-up exercise is to come out at the end of it going, oh, you know what? It's not so bad. I can do this. And have sort of that mentality towards the exercise. The more of these you do, the more relaxed your hamstrings will become, and the easier it will start to feel. And that is the point at which we can probably switch and go and do another thing. Keep on going. Probably another 10 seconds. Ooh, that little muscle shift in my left hamstring just now. 5, 4. Keep on bringing that belly button down. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, come on up out of that position. Take your time. You're bent forward for kind of long, so it might take a second for you to come back out of that position. If your toes are a little bit tingly from that stretch, shake out your feet, move them around a little bit, do a little dance, and we're going to get right back into basically the same position. We're going to open our legs, hips width apart. We're going to fold at the hips so that we're making that L shape again, and we're going to bend one knee. We're going to reach the hand across to the other side. We're going to help push that ankle so we can rotate our chest. These are called thoracic rotations. And we're going to extend the arm. We're going to look at the hand. We're going to reach behind that shoulder and come back down. Right leg is bent, left leg is straight. Right hand is pushing against the left leg. Left arm is extended out behind us. Chest is open. We're looking at the hand and reach. I'm talking really fast, but you don't have to move fast. This should be nice and smooth and gentle. And I don't want you to hold your breath. I want you to breathe the whole time. We're doing 5 of these reps in total, and I'm starting on the second half of number 2. Going for 3. You can adjust and tweak this. I'm bending pretty far forward when I do the rotations. If you go from a slightly higher angle, you might have a little bit more mobility. Just be careful not to put too much pressure pushing into your knee. That generally is not so good. And when I say push, I mean like don't put your hands directly on the knee joint and push into it to help you rotate. Whew. All right, I think this is 4. We got one more to do. Let's go. Open and reach. Open and reach. And that is 5. Thoracic rotations. Hopefully, as you were doing them, you were able to reach a little bit further each time, just like how we were doing the elephant walks, slowly crawling forward, making a little bit of a dent towards some flexibility and mobility goals. We are all done with our back and arm stuff. We're moving back into some leg stuff. So the third and final warm-up exercise is called the Cossack switch. And you don't have to jump in right at this moment, but it ends up looking a little bit like this. We're basically popping into a low squat on one leg. The other leg is here for support. Our heels are down, and we're going to try and sit back as low as we can to really put pressure into that hip, into our calves, into our flexibility. And then we're going to try and bring our butts over to the other side. We're going to come back, and that's going to count as 1 rep. For all of you, you now follow along. We are going to pre-stretch that position by turning into a little ball, bring our legs together, squat low, hug our knees to the chest, and get into position, something like this for a little bit. Your ankles, your heels might be off the ground, and that is fine. I think I'd recommend that for most people. We want the Achilles tendon stretching. We want the calf stretch. And if you were sitting on your heels, you might start rolling backwards. So lean forwards instead. All right. From here, I'm going to talk about the Cossack switch, and you guys can stay in that little ball position. From this ball position, we're going to lean forward, put our hands down. We're going to extend one leg out, and we're going to try to sit back so that the heel on this power leg is down on the ground. From here, if you need a little bit of assistance, you can put your hands down. You can lean forward a little bit, and you can help shift your way over to the other side. And then I want you to try to sit back down into a deep position. That's what I want you to aim for. For a lot of us, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get down there. You're going to end up in a position that looks a little bit higher, maybe something like this. And this is a perfectly fine position to be in. Come across the other side, try to sit as low as you can, come back up, go to the other side, try to sit as low as you can. You can use your hands for these as well. And we're going to do 10 reps of these. So 10 times we're going to the left, 10 times we're coming back. Cool? Let's get ready. Come on out of that little squished ball shape that you're in. Put your hands down. Extend that leg over to the other side. Keep your heel down as you do more of these. As your body gets more used to this, you might be able to get a little deeper. Don't worry if you're not there today. From here, heels down. Scoot your butt over to the other side. And that is number 1. You can keep on using your hands for as long as you'd like. If you're looking for a little bit more of a challenge, you're ready to level up, you can keep leaning forward, but remove your arms. That way you don't have to learn a new form, a new tweak in that position. When you're feeling stronger and you're ready for more, you can stand up a little bit straighter, straighten out that back instead of folding so far forward. Stand up a little bit straighter. If you're feeling a little bit off balance when you do that, you can stick your arms out in front of you to help counterbalance. And we're gonna keep going. I honestly have no idea how many of these we've done, but I'm gonna pretend we've done 7. Keep going. 8, 9, last one, 10. Whew. Bring your legs back together. They're probably very tired, and that is absolutely okay. Because we're gonna take a quick break. I have a little bit of a sore throat, and I need to drink some water. Oh, okay. Man, this stuff is cooling off so fast. It started so hot, and now it's like totally chuggable. Okay, if you're just joining in, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, build a little bit of community, have some fun while we suffer on the floor, and hopefully make a bunch of progress together. Whew. That was our warm-up, and if you're feeling like that was a little bit too intense, this is just a warm-up. This is kind of crazy. Don't worry. The following 5 moves that we're going to do are all stretches, and we need to get the muscles warmed up, get them ready to move so that we can get them loose and relaxed to actually get some benefit from the stretches. All right? Which means a lot of these are a little bit more chill, so you don't have to get as much cardio done. Let's get into the first stretch. It is called the hamstring stretch, or it is a hamstring stretch, and I like to do it like this with a little bit of padding under one knee. It can be a couch cushion, could be a little piece of yoga mat, could be a slipper that has a little bit of foam. From here, we're going to extend our leg directly in front. So our hips are pointed forward, our shoulders are pointed forward, our leg that we're stretching is pointed forward. I am going to start with the leg that I am less flexible in, which happens to be my left leg. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the belly button. We're going to fold forward, bring the belly button down to the thigh, and we're going to hold that position, and we're going to introduce a whole bunch of different ways to help get a little bit deeper. All right? I'm going to rotate around so you can see what my body is doing a little bit better. You guys don't have to move because I can't see you. And let's begin. Fold forward, bring that belly button down towards your thigh. Your hamstring's going to tighten up, and that's okay. Take some normal breaths. Relax as much as you can, and then we're going to do a big inhale, exhale. What that means is we're going to go big inhale, and then when we exhale, I want it to be long and slow, and I want you to try your best to fold that belly button down as you exhale. Okay? Inhale. Exhale and fold. Wow, your hamstrings are probably screaming and really tight, and maybe they even feel like they went anywhere, but they're feeling way tighter. That's okay. Take some normal breaths. Try your best to relax in this position, and we're going to do another inhale, exhale in a second. All right, one more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Keep on trying to bring that belly button down to your thigh. And that's about it. We're ready. Let's go. We're holding this for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27. If you have a little bit of knee pain, a little bit of knee sensitivity, you can try to widen your stance, adjust the angle a little bit. If that is not helping, you can bend your knee slightly. Focus on bringing the chest all the way down to touch that leg first, and then slowly straighten out your leg. Everybody else, if you don't have knee pain, ignore what I'm doing right now and keep on focusing on bringing your chest down. Whew. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, remember to breathe, 1, 0. Ooh. All right, that is one leg. We are only doing 30 seconds of stretching on each leg, and it's time to move on to the other side. Switch legs, get into the same position. Make sure you are relatively balanced, stay stable. Open up your legs as much as you need to for balance, and bring that belly button down to your thigh. Relax, take some normal breaths. Then we're going to do the inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Your hamstrings are tightening up. They're really unhappy with you, and that is okay for a little bit. Take some normal breaths. Try to get comfortable in this position. Relax if you can. And we're going to do one more inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale and fold. We're holding this for 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come on out of that stretch. Oof. That felt kind of intense. Sounds about right. That was intense. Oh, that is the first of our 5 stretches. We are going to move right on into stretch number 2, the butterfly stretch. And in the butterfly stretch, I recommend you get to a wall or get to something that will give you a little bit of back support. And the reason for that is because in the butterfly stretch, and if you don't know what that looks like, it looks like this. We're sitting on our butts, we're bringing our feet together, and our knees are up like this. We're trying to bring them down into the ground to open up the hips. For a lot of us, when you sit in this position, you'll probably want to fall backwards. And so, to stay upright, you're going to have to pull on your legs, you have to pull on your feet in order to keep your back not falling backwards. So, this makes it so it's a little bit hard to focus on the actual stretch that we care about, which is bring the leg down into the ground. To beat that feeling of falling backwards, we're going to use a wall. We're going to lean our hips, our back, our shoulders, our head against this wall. And from here, when we pull the feet in, you'll see that I am able to keep my hips much, 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 much lower because I am not trying desperately to stay upright. Cool? From here, pull your feet in and try to bring your knees down to the ground. The goal of this stretch is to stretch the groin here in the center of your body. And the way you do that, because it's hard to figure out what muscles you're using, is just making sure your knee is going down into the ground. If your knee is rising when you're trying to work on the stretch, you're not doing the right thing. So focus on bringing your knees down into the ground. All right. I want you to use these outer thigh muscles, these glutes, to pull your legs down. And when you can't get any deeper, I want you to take your hands. I want you to push into your legs. When you do this, the back of your head, maybe your shoulders, will feel a lot of pressure, and that's basically because we're pushing into the legs, but we're also pushing our head into the wall, and the wall isn't moving, so our head is feeling that pressure. That's it. This is the whole thing. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. I'm wearing socks and it's a little bit slippery, so my feet are sliding away from me while I'm pushing down on the legs. If you're experiencing that, you can take off your socks and maybe find a slightly grippier surface. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Let the hands go. Let the hips relax. And if your hips are feeling a little bit stuck right now, like you forgot how to use those muscles, you can lift your legs with your hands a little bit on either side, flap the wings of your butterfly, and they should wake up and be ready to move. Oh, we're going to move on into our third stretch. The third stretch we're going to do is either a seated pancake or a standing pancake. In both, the goal is to open up the legs and to fold forward. So far forward that your head is in between your legs and is a really hard stretch. So, why two options? In both, we want your butt to be pretty high up the ground so that gravity can pull your head, your chest, and your belly button down, give you some help with the stretch, because some help is always good. And when we do it in a standing position, we have to hold up our own body weight, right? So our inner thighs are going to work really, 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 really hard to help hold us up. And in general, I recommend doing the versions of exercises where you're using a lot of strength, where you're using a lot of muscle power, because I want you to get stronger while you're doing the stretches. The stronger you are, the easier it will be to control the range of motion, to get into these moves, because your body is able to handle it, right? But if your floor is super slippery today, or your situation is not optimal for you to be straining all of your muscles, because maybe you were on yesterday's live and now you're a little bit sore. If that's the case, you can do this stretch from a seated position. I got the edge of a couch right here. I'm going to turn the camera just a little tiny bit. And from here, you can open up the legs decently wide. Doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to open it as wide as you can. The goal here, again, is to fold forward and let gravity pull your chest down, pull your head down, pull you into a deeper stretch. From here, to make this a more intense stretch, you can extend your arms above your head. Try to bring the belly button down, and that's it. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Ready? 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Feel free to try little tiny movements, little wiggle here and there to see if you can get into a deeper stretch. 23, 22, 21, 20. Remember, this is about the belly button coming to the ground or as close to it as possible. It's not about your head or your shoulders. Those can bend, but try not to do too much, because that puts pressure into your spine that you don't need, because all of the stretch is coming from your hips folding forward. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Come on out of that stretch. Put your hands down. Oh, come back into standing. If it was really challenging, that makes sense. Standing pancake is one of the hardest stretches that we do. And you should be feeling a lot of tension here in the inner thighs and in the hamstrings. It's partially why we spend so much time doing the elephant walk, loosening up those muscles, and then the hamstring stretch right before. And if you're tired, that makes total sense. Go grab a sip of water. I need it. And so you can go grab one too. I'm going to scroll the chat real quick. Sage Shops asks, Ken, what's the normal schedule to join your lives? Most of the time, the lives are at 9 p.m. Eastern. That means this live started about 34 minutes ago. I actually ran a little bit late, so it's only been 30 minutes, but 34 minutes ago is when the live starts, and it's this time every single day at Monday through Sunday. On the weekends, Saturday and Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, we do another live. So whatever 34 minutes ago is for you, add 12 hours to that, and there's another live. That's a really confusing sentence. So whatever time it was 34 minutes ago, just turn it into an AM or a PM, just whatever other opposite time it is for you. Man, time zones are really confusing. That sentence was just overwhelmingly confusing. I'm going to scroll the chat real quick, take a look to see if there are any questions we can address real quick. And Caitlin says, hey, Ken, love this. Lovely. Thank you so much. And Golden Child with a thumbs up. I appreciate your thumbs up. Che sending in the gifts, sending in good vibes all the time. I appreciate you. And I think I'm going to finish up scrolling, grab one last sip of water. We're going to get into our fourth stretch. Ooh. Sorry, I have a bit of a sore throat today, so I'm taking a little bit more water breaks than usual. Let's go. Fourth stretch is the pigeon or the figure four. Sorry. Yes, the pigeon or the figure four. And they both look a little bit like this. We bring the leg across the body. We're lifting that leg up towards our chest, and we'll bring our chest down towards the leg so that we are folded forward a little bit like this. I want you to feel the stretch here in the side of the glute, sort of in the side of your hip. And that's basically the stretch. So we got two different ways to get into it. If you have a preferred way, you can do whichever way you like, the pigeon or the figure four. Both basically look like that. And I can't remember. I think we did the pigeon yesterday, so we're going to do the figure four today. I explained one per day because otherwise it's a long time. To do the figure four, we're laying on our backs. What a nice way to move on from the standing pancake. From here, we're taking that leg, we're crossing it over to the other side. We're reaching our hand through the triangle we just made, and we're reaching our hand around to pull on that leg behind the leg that's crossed over and bring the whole entire thing towards our chest. Whew, that's it. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. If your knee is feeling a little achy, a little sensitive, you can take one of your hands, give your knee a little bit of support. And if your proportions make sense and your flexibility makes sense, you can also tuck your knee into your elbow and help pull that down towards your chest. That's it. That's all we got for the figure four. We're holding this for 30 seconds. Try and get closer. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Remember, you're feeling the stretch here. You might also feel it a little bit in your hamstrings, but you're feeling it here in the hip. So pull on that leg, bring it closer to your chest, or bring your hips closer to the leg. Ooh, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, relax. If you haven't already totally come out of that stretch, you can just sort of keep your shoulders down and let your hips rotate and drop to the side. Come back up center, drop to the other side. Oh, let that low back relax a little bit. Do a couple of just chilling, floppy relaxation things. When you hang out here and you let the body rotate, you might actually feel another stretch here in this outer hip. And that is nice, because that's what we were working on before, and we were working so hard, and now we get to get it for free. What the heck? Okay. Oh, come out of that. I know it's super relaxing, but we got to finish up. All right, let's switch to the other side. I don't know why I rotated all of this. I went from my back to my knees, back to my back, feeling silly. Okay. From here, we're crossing the leg over to the other side and doing the same thing. You can reach your arms through and just start pulling on that leg a little bit. If your knees are a little bit cranky, you can cup them and give them a little bit of support. And We're going. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. This is our second to last stretch. We got a whole bunch of side splits coming right up, and then we'll be wrapping up the show. If you are just joining in for the first time, we're doing 60 minutes of live side split and hip mobility training. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. Started about 40-ish minutes ago, probably. And yeah, we do this every day to practice consistency, build a little bit of community, and have some fun, keep ourselves entertained while we suffer on the floor together. And, hopefully that combination of things helps us make some progress, get a little bit more flexible, move a little bit better. And, if that sounds cool, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. 9 p.m. every day. I'm pretty sure we're done with that stretch. Relax, let your hips drop to one side. I have a couch here, so I cannot let that happen quite in that way. Whew. Let your hips drop to one side. Keep both your shoulders down. Let that low back chill. Get a little bit of a stretch. And relax. We have one more stretch, except we do that 3 times for 30 seconds. And it's really quite stressful. But, we only have one more stretch to do. So when you're ready, come on up, back into standing. We're going to talk about some side splits. Whew. One more sip. For the side splits, the main thing that we want to focus on is relaxation. Getting into a position, chilling out. In the side splits, typically, when you're getting into position, all these muscles are freaking out. They're going crazy. Like, what the heck is going on? And all sorts of tension will be going on in your hips, in your legs, in your low back, everywhere. What we want is this position to feel a little bit more natural, a little bit more comfortable. And to do that, we want to remove as much tension as possible. Because when you're seated, you're just chilling. There's not that much tension in your legs, right? But if you're squatting, for example, and you're just hanging out in a position that looks like you're seated, if there's no support, your muscles are all strained and they're working really hard to keep you from, falling backwards or whatever. Same general principle applies. If you have a little bit of support, you can relax a little bit more. And if you can relax a little bit more, there's less tension. Less tension means you can stretch a little bit deeper. So, slightly tangential. I recommend you stand in front of a wall or stand in front of something soft that you can fall into, so that you can relieve some of the fear of falling backwards. If you are doing this, get in a side split position, you're trying to adjust, you're trying to figure out how to get into a position, and you start leaning too far back, and you start falling backwards, it'll be really scary. But if you have a couch, if you have a bed right behind you, that will help keep it nice and soft and comfortable, so you won't be afraid of falling backwards. If you don't have something as perfectly soft and cushiony as a bed, I actually prefer and I recommend you go in front of a wall, 8 to 12 inches, a footstep or so in front. If you start falling backwards, you can rotate, your shoulder can slam into the wall, maybe your low back, your mid back, maybe your butt can slam into the wall, and you'll only have fallen, 8 to 12 inches. If you didn't have that, and you're in this position, you fell all the way down, your butt would hurt a lot more than slamming back into a wall, right? So find something to fall back against and make your environment feel a little bit safer. On the topic of safety, you can grab as many cushions, stools, yoga blocks, anything that you need to make your surroundings a little softer, a little bit nicer to land in. If it helps you feel a little bit more chill, if it helps you feel a little bit more secure, if it helps you relax a little bit, then it's going to help with your side splits. Cool? Whew. That was a long spiel. Let's get into some side splits. We're going to start by opening up our legs decently wide. We don't want our hips to hurt. So if your hips are going too far and they're already a little bit uncomfortable, you can bring your legs in. And from here, we are folding forward. So take that deep bow, point your belly button deep into the ground, and see if you can put your hands down. If your hands can't reach yet, you're not flexible enough, that's okay. If you have a stool, a chair, a yoga block, you can start with a little bit of assistance, but you can also try to open up your legs a little bit wider. It might have been uncomfortable when you were standing up straight, but when you're folded forward like this, we've actually rearranged our hip and thighs, and this is a position where you should be able to get a little bit more depth in your side split compared to when you were standing. From here, if you're able to get your hands down, you're able to get a little bit lower. I want you to try your best to externally rotate the legs. What does that mean? Right now, we are rotating the legs so that the ankle is down, the toes are pointing up, and the knees are pointing up. All right, this is called external rotation. Before, our feet were pointed toes towards you, towards the camera. Now we are rotating the legs so that the toes are pointing up, and the knees are pointing up, and the heel is down. When you do this, you basically rotate your leg, and that makes it so that your leg bone does not smash into your hip bone. It makes it possible for you to sit back into a stretch position like this. Cool? From here, we're basically done. This is the stretch. Do a little wiggle from side to side, holding this for 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. We talked briefly earlier in a sort of rambly way about having a little bit of support to help your muscles relax. If you're in this position and you want to do some training outside of what we do here at the live, feel free to give yourself a little bit of support so you can relax a little bit better. Yoga blocks are perfect for that. You can kind of stick them and rearrange them to under your leg, wherever, and that little bit of support will help you to relax a little bit longer and chill in that position, helping you to master it. Oh, for the rest of us, for the rest of the show, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, we're done with that first stretch. Walk your hands forward. Oof. Bring your legs in. Oh, man. I try to fill the suffering, the counting parts with fun facts and different information so that you don't have to just go 25, 24. Can please count faster? 23. All right, come out of that, and when you can, come back into standing. We're going to shake out the tension that we just created in our hips and in our legs. If you're just joining in for the first time, it looks a little bit like this. I want you to imagine you're shaking water off of your toes, like you just got out of a swimming pool and your feet are a little bit wet, and you're going to go whoosh, whip that leg out, flick the water really far, splash water into the face of your friends, your enemies, people you're teasing, whatever. That motion, I want you to do a couple of times. I want you to feel how relaxed your calves are, how relaxed your ankle is when you're whipping it out. And that, we're going to keep that sensation, but we're going to drop the leg. We're going to let the whole leg start to relax. We're going to let that whipping, floppy feeling take the whole leg, and we're going to shake it out like that. All right? So we're going to start with the flicking of the water really far away. We're going to take that motion. We're going to make it a little bit simpler, a little bit gentler, a little bit easier. Relax the leg, flop it around, wiggle, 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 shake, 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 and shake out that tension. I want you to experiment with that shaking. You're going to add a little wiggle, add a little shake, add a little dance. Make it fun, enjoyable. We're going to focus specifically now on the hips a little bit because we shook out the legs, but our hips are suffering quite a bit when we're in that side split position. I recommend that you lean all of your weight on one leg, and then this other leg over here, we're going to just gently place on the ground. You don't have to open up a big wide stance. It can be very small and contained. And from here, I want you to bring the knee in and out and in and out and in and out, like you're doing a little bit of a dance. Sometimes I call this Stanky Leg Junior. And what we're doing is we're just getting these muscles to work a little bit, to be chill, to relax, and to relieve any tension. Same reason that we're doing this sort of flopping. We're getting a little bit of movement, and the type of movement we want should be loose, should be chill, should be Stanky Leg Junior. All right? Same thing on the other side. If all of your weight is in one leg, it'll be easier for you to rotate and shake out the other leg. notice that nothing else in the body is moving. It's just this leg at where it connects to that hip that is moving. There's very, very little weight on this leg. I can lift it up and keep on doing the same move. And as you get more skilled, as you figure out how to use this muscle on demand to shake out your leg, you can lean sort of off to one side and you can add it into your leg shakes. All right. We started with this, in, out, in, out, in, out. If I extend my legs, in, out, in, out, in, out, and then we can just add it into the leg shaky goodies that we've been doing over here. Cool? Oh, that's a lot of time to relax your hips, relax your legs. I think we should be ready to get into side split number 2. Let's go. Stand in front of whatever you're prepared to fall backwards into. Hopefully it will be protective and helpful and not sharp and pointy, because that would be bad. Sharp and pointy is not fun. Open up the legs decently wide. If it's hurting in your hips, bring your legs back together a little bit. Fold forward. If you can, try to put your hands pretty low to the ground and see if you can open up the hips a little bit further this time compared to before. From here, we're going to externally rotate the legs, which means the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. We're rotating the legs to make sure our thigh bones move out of the way and don't smash into our hip bones, into our pelvis. And from here, we're going to walk our hands back. Feel that stretch get more intense. We're going to do a little wiggle from side to side, see if we can break the friction holding our feet back. And that's it. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. You can play with your angles a little bit. If you lean a little bit more forward, you'll feel more of a stretch here in the inner thigh. If you sit back a little bit more, you might feel more stretch in the hamstrings. If you fold really far forward, you might feel like it's a pancake, and it is. That is exactly what you can do from this position. And you can feel free to adjust depending on how tight or how uncomfortable your muscles are feeling. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're almost done. 0. Walk your hands forward. Bring your legs in. Come back into something like a kneeling position. Chill, relax. Breathe. And when your legs are feeling okay enough to stand, please come back into standing so we can shake it out. Take it nice and slow and shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. We want to sort of be like a washing machine that like first rotation as it starts speeding up accelerates and then it picks up the pace. It gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. What am I even talking about? The spin cycle? When everything stops and it's ready to whip out all of the water, it slowly builds up the intensity. And that's what we want. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Same thing on the other leg. I forgot to mention, if you're just joining in, we start by just sort of whipping our leg out in front of us a little bit, letting the calves relax, letting the ankles relax. And as you get more comfortable and you keep on doing that over and over and over and over and over again, you can start relaxing the leg, kicking, flopping, wiggling, shaking. And let's do the hip things. We're going to put all of our weight into one leg, gently letting our big toes, the balls of our feet on the other leg down. We're going to rotate that leg so the knee points inwards, points outwards, points inwards, points outwards, points inwards, points outwards. This does not have to be super intense. This is nice and gentle. And we're going to pick up the pace. Same thing. We're going to accelerate, get loose. When you get really comfortable with this, your quad muscles will start swinging back and forth and flopping around. You'll feel everything up here in the upper part of the leg just flopping, relaxing, chilling. And when you get a little bit more comfortable with this motion, you can take your leg off the ground. You can keep on going with just the muscles in your hip and shake it loose, shake it loose. I don't know that it's actually that much more effective with the leg off the ground. I'm just saying you can do it. If you feel like you get way more relaxation from having your toe on the ground, keep your toe on the ground. All right, that is our hips. That is our legs. That is a couple of dance moves. Let's move on into side split number 3. Again, stand in front of whatever you're prepared to fall back into. If you lose your balance, knock on wood, we don't lose balance. I'm pretty sure that's not real wood. This is real bamboo though. So let's go. Open up the legs decently wide. Breathe, chill, relax. Remember, this is all about letting the tension go in the body. And we're going to fold forward. Try your best to put your hands down. Open up that side split position. Maybe you're a little bit deeper than last time. Breathe, relax. Externally rotate the legs so that your heels are down, your toes are up, your knees are pointing up on both legs. You can't see my other leg is behind the couch. From here, we're going to walk our hands back towards our hips. We're going to do a little wiggle from side to side. And that is our stretch. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. If you're not quite this low on the ground, you're struggling a little bit with this position, having a stool sort of in front of you to hold on to might be a little bit of support. So you don't have to arch your back as deep, trying to keep your hands low on the ground. And the cautionary tale I want to tell you about a stool is if you start sitting too far back and you think the stool is going to hold you, it's probably not. You're going to fall backwards and the stool is going to just come with you. All right, so whatever it is that you do use to hold you up, be careful that you're not leaning too far back because it won't support you when you're going the other way. Okay, I think we've been doing this for long enough. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Come on out of that stretch. Crawl your way forward. Kneel if you need to. That was our third and final side split. We are basically done with all the really hard stuff. What we're going to do after this is we're going to shake out the legs, flop it around. We're going to do a couple of movements specifically to get to end range of motion in the hips. Before we're just shaking them out, getting them loose. But now, since we're all done with the exercise, we're going to make sure that we work on full range of motion for a little bit, and then we're going to wrap up. Cool. Let's go. Come back into standing. Let's get ready to shake. We're going to start with the flicky water shake. And then as you get more comfortable with it, you can drop the knee, relax a little bit more, lean into something, be chill, flop the legs, shaky, 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 wiggle, 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 shake, 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 wiggle, 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 wiggle. Other side, starting with the water flicky shake, relax the knee, shake, 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 wiggle, 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 wiggle. I want you to feel like you're some floppy wet noodles, just shaking water over the pot after you've, okay, we're moving on. From here, we're leaning to one side. We're dropping the toe, dropping the ball of the foot, and we're doing this gentle shake to start. Stanky leg junior. Then I want you to step it up. Let's pop into a 10% of a squat, 20% of a squat. I want you to get back into that same weight distribution. Most of your leg weight is in this leg. The other leg has a little bit of weight, but not so much. And I want you to really open up that hip as wide as you can, directly out to the side. Then I want you to bring the leg in as deep inside as you can. Just really focus on full range of motion. We're going to do 5 reps. This is 1, 2. You might notice as you're trying to bring to the very end, my calves are shaking a little bit. My ankle isn't able to stay super strong. That happens when you're working on new movement patterns that you've never really taken to this level before, or your legs are really tired. That could also be it. And I don't know how many of these we've done. I think that's 5. All right, move on to the other side. We're going to pop into 10% of a squat, 20% of a squat. No, actually, we're starting with the shake first. My bad. Leg extended, just nice and gentle, just a little bit of movement. Relax the hips. Then we're going to work them in a little bit. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Now we're going to do 10, 20% of a squat. Open up that leg position. It doesn't have to be crazy. We're not going into a full horse stance. If you want, you can. It's just not necessary. 10, 20% of a squat. And all the weight on one side. This one is basically floating. We're going to rotate, bring that knee in deep and out and in and out. Try to make sure nothing else in your body is moving. Everything is coming from this hip joint, this right here where the thigh connects into your pelvis. And we're doing 5. I think that's 3, 4, in and out. That's 5. Okay. If your glutes are feeling tense because you're really cranking on them, trying to bring that leg out, that's good. You did it right. Okay. Whew. I got something stuck in my eye. I don't know how that happened. That is all the exercises we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of joint checks just to make sure everything is moving well and coordinated. To wrap things up, we're going to start with a couple of hip circles. If you know some parts of your body are always a little bit stiff, a little bit achy after stretching, after exercising, go ahead and give that part of your body a little bit of time, a little bit of love. I know after the side splits, I always feel a lot of tension here in the sides of the hips, so I like to do some hip circles. Once you've done those, bring your knees up into some high knees. Just want to make sure that that range of motion, that movement pattern is good. You'll know if there's an issue after 1 or 2 reps, so you don't need to do very many. From here, we're going to drop into a bit of a squat. I want you to fold forward as much as you can, and I want you to bring your knees forward so that you're feeling a whole bunch of stretch in your Achilles tendon, in your calves, in your ankles. And from here, I want you to try to do a little bit of a calf raise. This will help make sure your feet are staying strong, your calves, your ankles are staying strong. And once you've done a couple of those, we've basically tested all the muscles and all the main movement patterns. And you're probably doing fine if you could do all that stuff. So we're ready to wrap up. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency, doing some hip mobility work with me and some side split stretching today. We have just wrapped up, 57 minutes of live side split stretching. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we do this every day to do 2 or 3 main things. The first one is build consistency, right? You can have the best possible workout plan ever, but if you don't follow it, if you don't show up to do the work, it's going to be really hard to stay on track and to make progress. So the number one thing that we focus on is trying to make some basic exercises as fun, entertaining as possible, and make it easier for you to stay consistent by making it fun for you to show up, right? That leads into community. I mean, realistically, we're just sitting around stretching, making our legs hurt, and it's not exactly the most comfortable or most fun, right? So I try to bring good vibes to the internet. I hope you bring good vibes back into the chat. We can create a nice, fun place to hang out, suffer with all of other people on the internet, answer questions, ask questions, whatever it is that we need to do, so that we can make this whole thing that we're trying to be consistent about a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more fun, and hopefully with consistency, with community, we get to make a bit of progress towards better movement, towards our side splits, and just in general, enjoy the fact that we can move better. Cool? If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, and on the weekends, we have 9 a.m. shows. 9 a.m. Eastern is, just 12 hours from whatever time. So 9 p.m. Eastern might not be a time zone that you are personally aware of. It just means we started an hour and 4 minutes ago. And that is the time, both AM and PM, for our lives on the weekends. Cool? I got to really think of a better way to make that sentence sound a little bit more sensical, because this is a really crazy sentence. Subtract an hour, add 12. That's the AM time. Cool. I'm going to take a look at the chat and see how things are going. And we're going to do some Q&A if there are questions. And otherwise, we're all done for today. So if you got other things you got to do, don't be feeling like I'm holding you back. Travel with Roxy, send some smileys. We got a bunch of Gifts and roses. Thank you. Thank you. Mahubo, able differently, says it feels good. Awesome. I'm glad you were able to get the workout in, and I'm glad you're able to feel like you're moving a little bit better. Gilbert's into heart. Lovely. And Salvi, hold on. I'm going to turn on the brightness of my phone. I can't see the screen. Thank you. Amazing work. Thank you. Thank you. Dog Mama. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Salvi asks, what time do you start this routine? I start at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is about an hour and 5 minutes ago. Tifa with some hand raises. Awesome. Dive Sail Tinky asks, where has this live been hiding? This is awesome. I'm really glad that you feel that way. And I'm glad that you can enjoy it because I do this every single day. Now that you found me, don't let me slip away. Hit follow, hit subscribe so we can hang out and do more stretching together. Can I pet your dog? Asks, bro, I can't get that low. That is totally normal. I've been doing some version of this live, some version of this workout pretty much every day for a little over a year now, maybe longer, a year and a month. And it takes time. All good things take some time, right? Don't worry. A lot of the progress that you're going to see, if this is your first time joining in, a lot of the progress that you're going to see is going to come pretty quickly in the first couple of weeks. And then it'll probably slow down. And then more change will take a little bit more time. But the first couple of weeks usually are pretty nice because your body's figuring out, it's adapting, it's changing, and you're using muscles that you've never really used before. So it's going to get that first like little basic beginner level of adaptation, which is going to feel super fast, and you'll just start moving a lot better right at the beginning. And that's a good spot to be. Can I pet your dog? Also said, just found you and started immediately. Great. That's hopefully how the live makes everybody feel. I try to make sure that we do a lot of explaining so that you can just hop right in and continue without feeling like you're lost and going, oh, what is this complicated, crazy move? Or am I doing it right? Or how am I supposed to feel this stretch? I try to integrate it into the live as much as possible while keeping the pacing up so that we can get through the exercise, but also feel welcoming to people who are just coming in. Because at the end of the day, it's hard. It's really hard to practice consistency. Anybody who's done some amount of fitness training and has immediately dropped off knows it's really hard to stay consistent. So I try to be welcoming. I try to have you have just enough information that you can just get right into it, follow along. And if I can have you get a little bit of exercise, feel a little bit better, move a little bit smoother, then I have succeeded. I'm doing great. I hope you guys see the live, go, ooh, this is exciting, and I needed this, and follow in. So cool. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? I'm scrolling through the chat. Jeff Hall has watched the live for 300 minutes. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And for the commitment, Jeff. I appreciate it. Dive Sail Tinky. If you guys don't know, because I think I see a lot of new usernames in the chat, usually when I start doing the chat, I kind of go in reverse. And so I'm scrolling up and backwards for a little bit, and then I come all the way back down to see the fresh messages. So if you're wondering, what the heck is this guy reading? That's what's happening. Gilbert says, I love this hip stretch. I've been working on hips for a few weeks. Amazing. Yes, the hips are super important because they do everything. Your hips let your legs do this, right? Like they go all the way out and around and back. But they also generate a lot of power. So if you have a sport where you need to twist, you need to rotate, they kind of tie your lower body and your upper body together. So all of the big, powerful movements, whether it's hitting a baseball, throwing a punch, there's a lot of hip action going on. And it's also, oftentimes our weakest link because most of the time we spend in this position, seated, either slouched forward or not, and not letting the hips do the things that it's designed to do. And most of the time, I guess, on these lives, on these hip mobility type things, we're just trying to give access to the hips to do the things that they're designed to do instead of rolling forward and being like this, hunched over. Okay, I see a question here. Any good shoulder and neck stretches you could suggest? I think I do have a couple of good neck exercises or neck stretches. I'm trying to find something to use as a prop for this. I guess I could use the chair. All right, fine. Give me a sec. For your neck and shoulders, they're somewhat tied together. And when we're talking about shoulders, I imagine you're talking about this top chunk right here. If you're sitting in a chair, which I imagine most of you are going to be in soon or shortly, I recommend you grab the bottom of the chair. So we're going to stretch out the right side of the neck and the right shoulder right now. If you grab the bottom of this chair, lock yourself in position. You can also wrap your legs around the chair to keep you a little bit more stable if you like. It's not super necessary. From here, focus on making sure you're stretching directly to the left, right? Like if you're going off to the side a little bit, you're going to feel less intense of a stretch. But if you give your head a nice little pull and you lean into it so that your fingers are what's keeping you attached to the chair, you'll feel a nice stretch here in the neck and nice stretch here in the shoulder. If you lean and you change the angle a little bit and you start leaning forward, you'll start feeling the stretch in slightly different places, and you can do that on the other side as well. So take the chair, grab underneath, extend that arm fully lengthened. Your fingertips are holding you together. Now you're getting a stretch here in the shoulder, and if you pull on the neck a little bit, just a little bit of gentle pressure, nothing crazy, you can bring your neck down and you'll start feeling a really intense stretch here in the side of the neck and the shoulders. You can basically do the same thing with your neck forward. There's no special advantage of the chair this time. And backwards. The neck joints are capable of doing a couple of things pretty well. One of them is this thing that we were just doing, going from side to side. Try to make sure it is going from side to side and you're not just like slightly rotating and then going from side to side. If you know what I mean, like we're going left and right, not rotate and then go right. It's a little bit subtle. If you have a mirror in front of you, it'll be a little bit easier to make sure that your neck is moving in the right axes. Other than that, your neck is designed to rotate from left to right. So if you spend a little bit of time doing this forward and back, if you do 10, 15, 20 reps, depending on how stiff your neck is, you can just start with 10. Start with a smaller number and build up as you get more comfortable and you are more capable in these movements. You should be able to get a little bit of relaxation. The movement should be nice to get the muscles like sort of grooving. The actual stretching should be nice to relieve some tension. And you don't have to do this all at the same time. You don't have to do this like in order either. You can just pick and choose what you think is useful and relevant at any given moment. In general, most of us are not spending enough time moving our joints through the range of motion that they're capable of or were used to be capable of. And if you already have a lot of neck stiffness and neck discomfort, I do recommend you working on a little bit of these types of movements, just some gentle looking from side to side, rotating, or sorry, leaning the neck and the head from left to right, forward and back, just to get your muscles moving and grooving and ready to do stuff. Because if you've never trained it and your neck is tense, maybe if you train a little bit, your neck will be less tense. Best case scenario is you move better. Your worst case scenario is it takes like 30 seconds to go from side to side, and it's not that tiring. Cool? All right. I think that's all I got for neck and shoulder. I am going to scoot this chair out of the way, and then I'm going to scroll back down to the bottom of the chat. Oh, we got a comment that says 6 p.m. California. Yep, that is absolutely correct. 9 p.m. Eastern is 9 p.m. Eastern is 6 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. California time. Where are we at? Can you show some stretches for people with knee problems? Alexandrine says, thank you for the motivation. Better Travel Relaxing says, baby steps. Ivy says, excellent workout. Lovely. Okay, got a couple questions in here. Let's see. Hip exercises while on chair. Is that possible? Yes. And no. Do you have to stay seated the whole time? Is that what you mean by on a chair? Because I think with a chair you can do everything, but seated in a chair makes several ranges of motion a little bit more difficult. For example, your leg should be able to go back behind you, and you should feel the stretch here in the front of the hip. And an example of extreme flexibility and mobility would be something that looks like the side splits, right? You can't really be seated to do that direction of work. From a seated position, you can definitely do a lot of other things. Maybe not in a chair, but in a stool, you're probably able to do a lot of stuff. The hip flexors in the front, if you wanted to start training for something that's like L sits and ab and core work, that you can definitely do somewhat from a chair. You can probably do stuff off to the side if you have half a butt cheek on the chair. This is plenty to work on these abductors, leg lifts from a seated position. If your back has to be a certain position, it might be like if you have to be seated back all the way into the chair, that might be a little bit more difficult. If there's no arm here, so I pretend that this chair doesn't have an arm and this is the backrest, I think you can get most everything. If you can keep just half of your butt cheek on, you can actually bring the leg back. So I think it depends on what you're capable of handling in the how much of your butt needs to be on a chair. Yeah. Let me think. What else we got? More hip stuff from a seated position. The seated pancake is a seated stretch, right? We can sit here and fold forward with our legs extended. It might be a little bit difficult because part of your butt wants to slide off and part of your legs wants to open up, so less of your butt will want to stay in the chair. So it might take a little bit of effort to maintain this position when you're leaning forward. So if you're in a situation where you need to be in the chair, and if you lean too far forward, it's going to be difficult to get back into because you have limited control outside of the chair. The seated pancake might be a little bit tough because you might want to slip out when you're in that position. However, you can do pretty much seated variations of most of our stretches. The elephant walk that we did, you can still lean forward and forward fold. Gravity's pulling your chest down, pulling your belly button down towards the ground. You can still do some version of the elephant walk, bending one knee, straightening out the other. It might not be as effective and it might be a little bit more difficult. You might need something with a little bit more slipperiness, less friction underneath your heels. So for the elephant walks, I think this direction, I'll be able to slip around a little bit more. Okay, cool. Nice. I just need the floor. Okay, for the elephant walks, if you focus on slightly bending the knees, straighten out the back, feeling that stretch, and you move your legs and straighten them, it's basically the elephant walk, and it does a good job. So yes, I think most of the stretches are doable, but it really depends on how much control you have over your seated position. AKA how much of your butt needs to be on the chair at any given time. Because it's great as a support, right? Like we use all sorts of things for balance throughout the show. Doing the hip cars, we often, or I demonstrate often, holding onto a wall to help focus on this movement, right? Hip cars. This is the first warm-up exercise for everybody who's like, what are you talking about? We didn't do that today. And you can totally do a version of that on the ground, so you don't have to be standing. And that would look like high knee, open up directly to the side, rotate the ankle up, bring the leg down and back. From a chair, if you can just keep part of your hip down, you can still do high knee. You can still do opening up, but it'll be difficult because you kind of have to figure out how to balance. But you do have the infrastructure of a chair to hold you up. You can still rotate your ankle a little bit, and you can still bring the leg back. Obviously, the heavier and wider the chair, the more stable it will be, and that will be much more helpful. If you have a really, really cheap IKEA plastic chair that is going to just flop and wiggle and bend when you're doing exercises on it, that, don't do that. That's a bad idea. This chair seems incredibly stable. So I feel relatively comfortable saying that we could potentially do some leg raises behind us. This is called hip extension. And lifting up to the side, rotating from here, rotating and rotating. Everything is relative, right? So like when we bring the knee up directly to the front, if you're at an angle, holding onto the chair for stability, front is just bringing your knee towards your face, right? If from a standing position, we're opening up that hip directly to the outside of our hip. From a seated position at an angle, maybe it just looks like this weird angle, and that's fine. As long as you're working on your maximum range of motion, I think most skills can be adjusted, but because you're in a chair, you're going to lean, you're going to push against the chair, so you have to have a little bit of arm strength to help adjust. Cool. For the thoracic rotation that we do, you can actually hook yourself deep into that chair, wrap your legs around wrap your legs around the legs of the chair, and you can sort of grab the chair and slowly pull your back into position. Look back. Make sure that it's slowly happening over the course of your whole back and not just that one joint, one vertebrae. And I'm thinking, what other exercises do we do a ton of? We did the hamstring stretch. That's fine. Butterfly might be a little bit of a struggle if you have a chair with arms. If you had a stool, it'd be fine. In fact, the butterfly is seated the whole time anyway, right? If you can elevate your butt, actually, you can get into an even deeper butterfly stretch. What else do we do? Third stretch, seated and standing pancake. Fourth stretch is pigeon. Pigeon from a chair is definitely possible because the figure 4 we can do lying down or we do standing, right? So pigeon from a chair could be just crossing your leg up and trying your best to fold really far forward. In fact, when I demonstrated the stretch at the very beginning, I basically just did this, right? You can do that from a seated position. That's totally fine. What else we got? Side splits. That's it. Yeah, everything that we do in the show can definitely be adapted for a seated chair-based position. I think some of them we would probably be better off changing out because it's a little bit awkward. Like the elephant walks are a little bit strange unless you have like a perfectly super ultra slippery floor and also are able to apply pressure without falling out of your chair. So I think that might need an adjustment. But pretty much all the other ones you can definitely do from a chair, either with arms or without arms. Yeah. Cool. All right, let me come back to the phones and see what's going on because I was just rambling for a long time. In Pursuit of Simplicity says, thanks for a great session. Good night. Thank you. Good night to you as well. With the chair, I need something to hold on. Okay. Hip exercise while on chair. Is that possible? You need something to hold on to because of that. You're using the chair. Yeah. So it's great. I think for pretty much all of the exercises that we were doing, the chair exercise, or we can do a variation in a chair. And in case your sentence actually means I need to hold on to something so that you can only do exercises with armed chairs because that's what you're holding on to, then I think the butterfly would be the one that's a little bit difficult because you need to be able to open up your legs pretty wide. But if you have sort of those types of office chairs where there's just one beam that comes up and supports the whole entire armrest, instead of having something that's open in the front and open in the back, you might be able to get your knee underneath the armrest, right? If it's an office chair, you might be able to extend the height of the armrest because those can be adjustable, and you might be able to get your legs underneath so that you can fold and get into the butterfly like so. For this particular chair, I think to pull off the butterfly, my butt would be barely on the chair. So I think some chairs are doable. Some chairs are less doable. But the backrest is something to hold on to. So if that is possibly enough support, enough of something to hold on to, then maybe that's enough, right? Because the way I demonstrated the thoracic rotation, I used the arm of the chair. If you kind of just twist your side over here, you can still use the back of the chair. Just depends on how high the back is. If the back of the chair is like all the way up here and you got to go like this, maybe that's not so helpful. But for this chair, this height for the backrest is perfectly fine just by adjusting the angle of my hips. Cool? All right. Whew. What else we got? What else we got? I think that is everything. All right. In that case, I think I'm ready to wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Hope you enjoyed the workout, had some fun, had some exercise, learned some variations on moves. We did the neck and shoulder stretch by holding onto the side of the chair to really focus on stretching out those muscles. And that's it. I think that's the end of our live. So I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed the live. I hope you enjoyed the good energy I'm trying to put out into the internet to help you all, including myself, practice a little bit of consistency, build a little bit of community, make the stretching, the suffering that we do on the ground a little bit more fun so that we can all make a bunch of progress together. If you had fun, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back, and we are back at 9 p.m. tomorrow, which is like in 22 and a half hours. I'll see you guys soon. Earthly Color Brown says we'll catch you next time. Lovely. All right, I'm wrapping up, hitting the power button. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Ivy says good night, Ivy. Closing out. Bada boom, bada bang.